Hello and welcome to another edition of PJ's Media Reviews, live TV and movie catch up. I guess. What are we going to talk about today, Sean? I have no idea. Maybe Book of Boba Fett.
Somewhat, yeah. Are we doing
Yeah.
cameras or no cameras? What are we doing?
Wait, no. You can do camera. I'm not doing camera.
No, I would do camera if
This
you're not around.
this is just very podcasty. We don't need to be on
Okay,
camera.
okay, I see.
Yeah. So it's like a year since we
Boom.
did the last one.
How
There you
about
go.
that?
Yeah.
See? There
Your
you go.
your channel logo.
There you go. I'm representing another channel today. Yeah, it's been a while since we've done this. Since we've talked about current shows, I guess, or shows that we enjoy. Book of Boba Fett's what you want to talk about?
Well, we'll start with that because that's the easy one because that's the most recent thing I saw today.
Yeah, well, it just came out. The most recent episode came out today. So spoilers for the most recent episode of the Book of Boba
Episode
Fett.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
So yeah, definitely spoilers. It's the best episode and it doesn't feature Boba Fett.
Oh no. Oh no. It's a very good episode of The Mandalorian. Um which
Yeah,
is it's
it's
bizarre.
Mando season 3, episode 1. That's what it is.
It's like taking the concept of a filler episode to the next level by featuring another show instead of your own.
Yeah.
Look, I'm enjoying Boba Fett, like the show Boba Fett. Although I think that the two recent, like the episode 3 and 4, were the weakest. I think episode 2 was the strongest. If I were to exclude like this thing here, it's just that I feel like they don't have enough story to tell in the present of Boba Fett, and so I enjoy the flashbacks that they're doing. It's just that sometimes I feel like they have more to tell in the flashback period or in the dream sequences than in like in the present. And this episode feels like it's reinforcing that even more because it's like we don't have enough story to tell about Boba Fett. We're gonna do a whole Mando thing.
Yeah, that was totally unexpected because when I first saw Mando, my brain just thought, "Oh, Boba Fett." And I was like, "Wait, that's Mando." And I was waiting for him to speak to confirm it. And
Yeah,
then it was
well,
like the whole episode was just Mando. And then like dropping the Grogu name and the little gift he wants to bring to him and like the whole thing at the end where he wants to go visit him. I'm like, are they getting back into all this like Mando Grogu stuff now in the last 3 episodes of Boba Fett? It's very interesting. It's a show that confuses the hell out of me from a story perspective, like the character motivation and the story and all this. But I'm still pretty entertained every episode. I know people are like, ah, this episode's bad and that episode's bad. A lot of people agree that episode 2 is probably the best
mm,
besides this one so far. It's been a lull. It's been slow and disjointed in a way. Like the flashbacks in the present aren't balanced well.
yeah,
But I think as a whole, like if you just started watching it now and watched all 5, you would get much more out of it. I think it's just I think we as bingers don't have the patience that we used to for like slow, methodic storytelling, even if it's not exactly clear where it's going.
no, I really do think that is the problem. I don't think it's a problem. Like I think it's because I have no problem watching. Like we just finished Dexter, right? We both love New Blood, so like that's not the issue. I think the issue here is they don't exact. We don't exactly know as an audience what they're trying to tell. Like the story they're trying to tell. Is it
Yeah,
really just Boba Fett like taking over some sort of like street gang? Like he wants to now be like the mafia don, and that's it. That's the story. But then it's kind of intercut with like dream sequences of the past. So it's clever that they made it dream sequences so that he can have his appearance of today, like the older, more bulkier appearance that he has. So that
yeah,
way, like that's kind of justified. That's cute. That works. But then you have like this kind of thing where like you didn't really need to spend an entire episode on the Mandalorian himself coming back. Like this you could have had him meet Fennec, um, and then in Mando season 3, you could have explained why he got into this place. But then, are we now going to have like final episodes where it's Mando stealing Boba's spotlight? What's going on? It's very bizarre. It's a very disjointed show that doesn't really know where it's going, I feel like. And it's not like it's really not as like Mando season 2 to me is a step up from season 1.
Yeah.
And it's probably the best Star Wars content we've had in decades at this point. Um, or at least it's something like I don't think I think the thing I like more, the one single thing I like more than like Mando is maybe episode 4 and episode 3. Maybe those are the two, right? The two things that I enjoy more, Star Wars related. But then this feels like a rough cut of what the Mandalorian would have been. You know what I mean? It feels like it needed more work. It needed more brainstorming.
Yeah, it all depends on where it's going to end up, because what's happening here, it's like it took 5 episodes, 4 and 5, for Boba to finally say, I need muscle. I need to get ready for war." And he didn't say that for the longest time. He didn't really know what he was doing.
Mm.
And like he was very quiet, and oh my god, what's his partner's name? The name escaped. Fennec.
Fennec, yeah.
She's kind of like
Melinda
unsure.
May.
She's loyal. She's loyal, but like kind of unsure about him. But she's still got his back. And then in episode 4 at the end, when he says, "We go to prepare for war," and I'm like, you can probably do the accent better.
I don't know if I can anymore. I've been so mixed up in my accents, but yeah.
Tamara Morrison, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I like his performance, and people have certain expectations about Boba. Like he's a badass. But Mando, technically, you watch Mando, Mando's more of a like quick trigger kind of dude who's not invulnerable, but you know what I'm saying. He seems like more of a badass than Boba. Boba's very gentle, like with the Rancor and shit.
Well, Boba's never like Boba Fett from the original films, right? Like, what did he ever do anything badass?
There's thing with him
It's
and
like 3 scenes where you understand that he's a bounty hunter, but then it's just him being told to go get a bounty, or it's him that has got a bounty. You never actually see a mission of his where he's shooting everybody up and what have you.
well, his first appearance is in the holiday special in an animated sequence where he's riding a huge
Okay, is that canon?
bird-like reptile animal, and he makes reference about how like I've rode animals 10 times this size or something like that, or whatever he says. And
I see.
it's kind of like a reference to the holiday specials where he's riding that huge animal.
Okay.
And see, the thing was like, besides that cartoon, the movies didn't give him much character development. Like it's not like he was a well-rounded character at all. He was just a cool accessory in the background that people kind of like built up over the years.
Mm.
So now that we get to know him, some people are like, "Oh, this is him," but there's a reason he's like it, and there's some things that are very confusing that I don't think make sense from a story perspective. One is, why is he looking for his armor in the Sarlacc pit when the Jawas took his armor? He knows that. It makes it like it's just such an oversight, it seems. And other people have pointed out, like, why is he taking the
Does he know that though?
yeah, I was thinking, but I didn't check, but I was thinking he was aware that they took it because they hit him over the head after they do it, right? To knock him out, I think. And leave him for dead. And that's when the Tusken Raiders find him or whatever. But
Okay.
he does get it back in Mando season 2. We know that.
I mean, I guess, and this is unrelated to what you were saying, but like my problems with Boba Fett is that like the episodes don't have as much focus, or the general story doesn't have as much focus. as like The Mandalorian or other shows that I enjoy, and also there's a whole bunch of things that I find like the Power Rangers Colorful Biker Club there. That's like cringe as fuck. Like I can't deal with that.
The Go
That's
Go
just
Vespa Rangers.
yeah, I can't live with that. That's just horrible. I really didn't like that. You know what I mean? I think that the whole thing with the Tuscans in the desert and learning about their culture and him like adapting to the tribe and like all of that's way better.
Yeah.
And then I thought that we were gonna start getting kind of like a challenge, I guess, between him and the Jabbas or the Huts. Sorry, the Jabbas, the Huts. That with the twins and him, and I thought that ooh, this is gonna be really cool.
Yeah, that was I remember that because Karakata. I can't say the Wookiee's name. I still have to.
Oh fuck! Yeah, okay. Angry,
Chrysantitan. I don't. You know,
angry gray Wookie.
angry Wookiee. Well, they're all angry, aren't they? They're always ripping people like Chewie, and now this guy's like with the arm ripping. But anyway, fucking, you have this guy come in, take him out of the back to tank, and this really awkward fight scene, which is cool, but it's like this, like logistically makes no sense. This Wookiee could just like kill him in like very easily, and then you see a demonstration of his power in the episode 4, and so the thing is, they send him there. He doesn't kill him. He falls into the Sarlacc pit, and then they discover that there's no Sarlacc monster. No, not Sarlacc. God, Rancor. Anyway, and then right after that, the Fets are like, oh, "We sent him. Sorry." It's like, what? What's going on? And that was like, what? And then like they're like, let him go. And it's like, what? And then the guy just kind of runs away. I'm like, I'm wanting this to play out differently, but I'm not like hating it, but it's a bit of a head scratcher. Just the way certain things play out.
Well, the unexpected kind of random ass. Oh yeah, we sent him from the Fits. That seems like a very, like the way I see them. The Fits. Sorry, God damn it, the Huts. The way I see them is like really, really kind of unexpected. Just trying things out. They don't care. They're like really rich. They're really powerful. You know what I mean? Like they don't.
Yeah.
So they're kind of eccentric. So that makes sense to me that they would do like just eccentric things, like try and kill you. Hey, look, it didn't work out. They'll come and tell you, look, we tried, but it didn't work. So we'll do something else. Like that makes it. It's just that at the end of the day, when you're watching the show, it's like how are these events, I guess, propelling the story further into like the future or into where it's supposed to go? Because ultimately, all of that was useless. We then got a reveal that the war is not at all with the Huts. The war is with what is it? Some other. It's almost like a corporate organization that's like a militia of some kind that wants to take over the planet for its resources or some shit.
Yeah, I forget the
That's
name.
the war that they're going for. Like, why wasn't that the opening thing? Why wouldn't you have that be Boba's main motivation at the beginning? Like, you know what? I don't want to have anything to do with like the mafia, or I don't want to take over this thing, but by doing this is the only way I'm going to be able to protect my friends out in the desert. And so that becomes the motivation for him doing this. But that's not the case. He learned about it after. It's a bit weird.
Well, besides some of the confusing story points, I think they're taking a risk by having this slow build, the flashbacks too, and now after episode 5, which is like a departure from the show completely, that deals with this whole different character that we know, Mando. And by the way, you don't have to see Mandalorian to get this episode. Like it,
No,
there's enough information given within the episode that you just understand like who he is, and you get the gist of it basically.
it's just kind of like doing like a TNG episode, but on like completely on the Bashir.
Yeah, something like that. But and at the end, that's what I was thinking. Like, what is this particular? I was thinking, like, I was enjoying it like a lot. Like, visually, Like the combination of sets and the AR wall are just
Mm.
so beautifully utilized,
Oh yeah.
because you see Mando walking throughout the space station thing, and
Halo.
going into the elevator and going up, and even when he's in the ship, flying around the ship at the end, like the reflections
Oh
on
yeah.
not only the glass but his helmet and everything, it just makes everything look so like real, even though like how it's done. But like the walking up to the elevator, going up, and like, it's all one shot, and I'm pretty sure everything you see is like in camera, and it's fucking fascinating how they do that. Like when he walks out into the room with the people, and you see like the back, like all of that was just beautiful. And when he goes down to the area with his comrades, and it's like all space in the background, and it's like, I don't know, it was just such a, it's one of the best looking Star Wars things I've ever seen, like just in terms of just visuals, like the space of it all,
Mm.
and that station like just looks beautiful. And then at the end, he gets like, Fennec is there. He's like, join the club. I was like, oh, geez, why didn't I knew like he might meet up with Boba at the end, but I didn't think Boba wasn't going to be in it at all. Of course, Fennec shows up. She's like, yeah, you need a job. Like he just got fired from the guild, right? He just got excommunicated. So it's like perfect. And the next remaining two episodes, I think are gonna, I think have the potential to kind of turn people around on the show and give people a little hope for how it may end, because you've got this episode, by the way, the last one, episode 5, was directed by Bryce Dallas Howard,
Mm.
Ron Howard's daughter. She's a force to be reckoned. She's a potential like big director in the
Yeah.
future. Like she
Absolutely.
directed I think it was episode 4, I believe, the one with the walkers
This is
of
the
Matt.
second episode of like Star Wars live action shows that I've been like, fuck, this is really well directed. And like the
Yeah,
first time I was like, oh my God, this was well directed. And this was Bryce that I didn't know she could direct. And this is the second time, like I think 5, 10 minutes in, I was like, this is well directed. Who did this? And then I went to look for it. I couldn't wait, and I was like, oh my, it's Bryce Dallas Howard again. It's like, okay, so this is twice now that I've recognized like twice now that the good episode that I've noticeably seen it being has been done by her. So it's like they want they want to give Star Wars trilogies to someone to direct. Yeah, you know what I mean?
and the emotion of it too, just the fact that he's talking about Grogu every now and again, and it's brought up, and that little gift satchel,
Mm,
when he looks at it, it looks like
him.
Grogu itself. I'm like,
It's
oh
so
man,
well
that's
done.
so clever. That's pretty cool.
It really is. It really is.
But
I
if
don't know if we're gonna see Grogu again though. I feel like maybe this is kind of like just a way of showing us and telling us that he has kept up like I guess the relationship where he has kept in touch.
well, you know what, they he says at the very end, like, I'm gonna go see him. Like, I'll join your group, but I gotta go see Grogu first.
Mm.
And
Well, he didn't
that's
really
that.
join the group though. That didn't turn out too good, did it?
What do you mean?
Well, the Mandalorian wants to join this clan of this is the way people, but he showed his face. He took his helmet off, so I think he got pretty much outcast from that. I think he's not allowed to do that anymore.
Yeah, I said that earlier. He was excommunicated.
Yeah, no, but that means so like
No, 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 no. He doesn't. He doesn't want to join the Mandos. I'm talking about Boba Fett.
okay, yeah.
But before he joins Boba Fett and Fennec, he says he's got to go see Grogu. And
Mm.
I'm saying him just saying that at the end is setting up expectations for like the first part of the next episode to be him visiting Grogu for some reason, which is totally out of line with the story. Would be totally unnecessary. But but I think maybe they might go the route of we're back with Boba and Fennec, and then like quarter way through, halfway through, Mando shows up to join the action, and it's like, yeah, I
Yeah, I
just
think
saw Grogu, and we'll see that in Mando season 3.
yeah, I think that's maybe what we're gonna get. I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna do like the Boba and Fennec thing, and maybe Mando's not gonna be here next episode. I think next episode he's not gonna be there. and then it's gonna be like all big setup and like kind of hyping for like the war, and then by the end of the next episode they're on the shits, and
Yeah.
in the episode after that, in like seven, when they're really about to get screwed, Mando comes in with his saber there, and he saves the day, or he helps them out, something like that.
That's an interesting aspect of the episode as well. The dark saber and the fact that it becomes harder to wield the more you try. Apparently,
Pedro Pascal's acting is just on point, because before they even mention that, you're looking at him, you're like, that thing seems so damn heavy.
um, I hate to break it to you, but that's Brendan Wayne most likely.
Oh, is it? It's not
Uh,
Pedro. Oh wow.
Pretty much anytime you see fighting or stunt work in the Mando costume, it's Brendan Wayne.
Okay.
There's another guy who does other stuff, and then Pedro Pascal would actually be there. Now, it's not to say that he didn't do stuff under the helmet, but usually it is the stunt guy. Brendan Wayne, by the way, is the grandson of John Wayne.
Okay. Well, congratulations to whoever it was, because like the acting was brilliant. I could see that it was really heavy. I was like, that thing must be. But then I was actually thinking, did they make this prop like really heavy just so that the actor would struggle with it? And then they go on to explain that it gets heavier because the more you fight with it, the heavier it is. The more you fight against the sword itself, the saber itself. Yeah, no, it was well done.
Yeah, I
It
don't know.
wasn't the best episode of The Mandalorian. Like there were Mandalorian episodes that are better than this. But it's hard to call it the best episode of Boba Fett because it's also not really a Boba Fett episode. It's weird. It's a strange little thing. It was very good though. I very much enjoyed it.
It was the best episode of Boba Fett, and it didn't feature Boba Fett.
My favorite episode is still episode 2. Um, I think it's still the best.
Okay.
Um, but no, yeah, this was very good. It's just that like the two previous episodes of the show were a little, you know, everything feels a bit dragged out, and yeah, it really is that I don't really know if they have that much to say. It's almost as if they could have executed this in like a 4 episode, kind of miniseries.
Yeah, I mean, seems like it's stretched out to more episodes than it needs to be. And I thought like you could have done a chunk with the Tuscans and then jumped ahead. The whole thing about like every time he's in the back to tank, we're going to get like that. It comes across as kind of forced and cheesy now. Like when I rewatch it, I'm like, this doesn't work.
Why not?
But
It gives me Arrow
I'm still
season 1
entertained by
vibes,
it,
though.
man. It's not bad. It's just I know
No, it's
people.
not
Some people are
bad.
hating on it though. Like really don't like it.
It's not bad. Also, you got to understand that people want to like. There's a whole part of Boba Fett's life, which is this part that they're showing us in those flashback sequences. People want to know about that, but like Timora Morrison has aged. Like he, the way they handle that in the Mandalorian when he puts on the armor again is they do it with humor. They do it with like tact. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
But you can't realistically, unless you like legit try and find someone that has like the same kind of body type as what he did when he was younger. Like you can't do that. You can't. So you have to find a way to make us see and understand what happened. You know, and this is the best way to do it. Unless you want to go like a Breaking Bad route, like a Jesse. What's his name?
Jesse.
No, 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 not Jesse. Like the bad guy that was in El Camino, um,
Oh,
and just
Todd.
yeah, just not give a shit about the fact that he's aged. You know,
Yeah. All
assume
right.
assume everyone's brain is gonna be like, yeah, yeah, it's the same.
Yeah. I think we're done with Book of Boba Fett. I don't think we got anything more to say about that. But I have faith in the next 2 episodes. I think it's gonna get better and better. Because it's been such a slow burn. It has to have like some fucking oomph. Not to say that there
Some
hasn't been action.
payoff to it.
I mean, the action in episode 2, like again with the train stuff, that was really good.
It was so good.
So good. And god damn, like I'm just so glad we have episodes of TV shows now that have sequences that look like big budget movies. For example, in the episode 5, which goes to the wonderful direction, it's cinematography. Everything like is so well framed. The Mando, I'm forgetting names, but Mando's master, she's talking about like the invasion, and you see the bombs dropping and stuff, and you see that big explosion. Like that all looks so photorealistic for TV. It's very, very impressive.
Mm.
And the little cameo from the guy from Kim's Convenience at the end, who was in that episode of Mando, good old Canadian guy. That's awesome. Like I love seeing that stuff. Like it new Star Wars, or the shows at least visually, do such a great job of blending the old and the new, like the original stuff and the prequel stuff.
Yeah.
So seamlessly. Like it. Some people say like every time I see something that takes me out of it or something, or like a little animated thing. I'm like, well, they do such a clever combination of practical and CG now, and they do the CG well enough that it kind of like looks clunky and real sometimes, and they blend them well now. Like it's weird. Like it's not like back in the day when there would be a clear distinction between an animatronic and a CG thing, because the animatronic would be very very stiff and like jerky, and then the CG version of that same thing in the next shot would be very smooth and you know what I mean. But now they do such a great job at combining those things. All right, let's move on to something else. Let's talk about Peacemaker for a second. You've only seen one episode, right?
I've only seen one episode so far, so yeah, I'm a little behind on that.
Let's get your thoughts on that. I have no idea what you thought.
Okay, it was all right, I guess. Is my conclusion. It was at once it was a bit much, but also not enough. That's what I tweeted about it, because like there was a, I don't know, I mean, one could expect it to be a bit much because obviously it's James Gunn. It's the kind of comedy Suicide Squad thing, the over the top thing that they were going for. But on the other hand, it didn't really deliver all too much, I felt like. Yeah, that's my impression on Peacemaker so far.
Did you find it too vulgar?
No, it was less so than I thought it would be, actually. I actually was expecting much worse in terms of vulgarity. There's one thing that I quite appreciated, is the way that they're... So I don't know anything about Peacemaker the character, but I'm assuming that Peacemaker the character might have some sort of like troubled past in terms of like racism, or like the way it was written, perhaps like the comic books. I don't know. So I feel like they're trying to address that, and I do feel like it's kind of a clever way to address that, the way they did with him, like calling the um what is it, the waiter, sweet cheeks, and like his father. Like immediately when that one character was going to approach the eagle, I was like, oh shit, the eagle's going to attack her because she's black, because the eagle has been with the father for so many years, and like the father's like racist, and he's probably always shitting on everyone, you know.
Well, actually, Eagly showed that he liked her, because even though he did snap at her, John Cena points out, was like, yeah, usually he's like much more aggressive. You know what I mean? Like, so I think he likes you because he only kind of like pecked at you, right? By the way, the cameo from... Oh shit! Yeah, you never mind. I don't know how far. I can't remember how far these things are in, so I can't really spoil it for you. But there were 4 episodes.
Well,
so far.
episode 1 ends with so he takes the girl from the bar home, which has the dramatic hair.
Yeah.
Um,
the dramatic hair, the 80s hair.
And then it turns out that
Hello? You got cut off there. Hello?
Yep. God damn it. My internet cut out. My internet's struggling today.
Oh, sorry.
No, I said she's like a villain of. I'm assuming that she's what they call the butterflies that they introduce. Well, she's like one of the butterflies or something. She's like she's almost like possessed or like she's real freaky. And then he blows her up with a helmet. That's how it ends.
Dude, the first episode is like just the beginning of the madness. You when you invest and you get to the end of the third episode, you're like, oh yeah, I'm in because I was loving it like the first two episodes, but I was like, I wasn't as engaged
Hmm.
as I was until the end of the third one. I'm
Okay.
like, oh, I gotta see the next one now, because like it doesn't. It's unlike Book of Boba Fett. It doesn't take long to really get going and to get exciting and fucking like bonkers. And I'm telling you, dude, some of the fights in this show and the way they're filmed are a cut above. I mean, they're very visceral, and fucking just like balls to the wall. Look painful. Like this shit looks painful as fuck.
Okay.
And the butterflies is a whole thing that they get into. I won't tell you what happens, but that's like freaky stuff. And Vigilante, who I think you meet in the first episode.
I don't think so.
He's
He
the guy
talks.
who's all covered head to toe. And
No, they talk about him. He says he has to go get
okay,
his friend or some shit like that.
okay, I think
But I
it's
saw a promotional picture of that one.
you've got to watch. You've got to give it at least till episode 3 before you quit because it's fucking good. James Gunn wrote and directed the first 3. I think he writes all of them, but
Okay.
um, other directors take on the job later on. The whole thing with the father and his past. You are right. You are right to speculate about like there is a backstory there. And I'm telling you, dude, as vulgar and as fucking like balls to the wall crazy as the show is, it has like this weird sentimentality and humanity about it, where at least one of the characters is recognizing that John Cena is fucked up, like mentally he's not right because of certain things in his past and how he was raised and stuff. And you get more and more of that, like, and you start. Man, John Cena is really quite good. It's surprising, like how
Yes, I
where he
wanted to
goes.
address that.
Yeah.
I wanted to address that. I've only seen one episode so far, and like the only, I guess, there's only two um sentimental moments really is like when he's with his father, and then there's kind of like at the end where I forget what she's called, but she's talking to him, and she gets attacked, well, she gets pecked at by Eagly there. She talks to Amanda Waller later on. Oh yeah, we get the Amanda Waller cameo at the end of episode
Okay,
one.
I wasn't gonna say that because I
No,
didn't
we
know if
did.
that was
Yeah,
in episode two or
we did
not.
get her. I heard a voice, and I was like, okay, so they just got a voice. They had to phone in some sort of line thing over the, and then they turn and like, oh no, she's there. They actually filmed her in an office somewhere. It's really cool.
I think from a story point of view, that's very interesting because it's Amanda Waller's daughter. They don't know it,
Mm.
and they fucking hate Amanda Waller's guts. I mean, like they really hate her. Like Steve Agee, who was in Suicide Squad, he's the only other one that was in.
What happened to the woman that hit Amanda Waller across the head? Is
Oh,
she in
was
jail now? Is she dead? How do you?
you did. We don't know. They.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know what happened.
She got sent on a Suicide Squad mission herself. Screw you. It was fun that they addressed that he still has the explosive chip in him, though. I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's right. They still have that. How do you feel about the DCEU at the moment? Like, I kind of feel like they wanted to leave Zack Snyder's vision with like the whole very mature, very adult thing, and they started making movies like Shazam and Aquaman. And then now they've just doubled down on the fucking monstrosity of like gore and vulgarity with like these James Gunn projects. It's they're very
Well,
confused in the way they're
it's
delivering
it's
content.
it really started with technically it started with Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice, the director's edition, which was the first DC or DCEU, I guess, rated R
Okay.
thing where Batman, if you had any doubt that Batman was killing. It's sure made clear in this version because he
Okay.
literally crushes a guy's head with a crate.
God damn.
Yeah, it's and I mean you see somebody getting brutally stabbed in prison and stuff. It's that was the first time I was like I saw the DCU as like something potentially they could do like more mature as in like violent content.
Mm.
Uh, I mean there's even some nudity and stuff. And then you got Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey or the
Mm-hmm.
Emancipation of One Harley Quinn or whatever they call it. That was like a distinctly R-rated film. Like in the first 5 minutes, some guy's leg is getting completely cracked the other way,
Mm.
and it's like, and not very graphic or in your face, but like scenes of people's faces getting cut off and stuff like that. Then what was the next
It's
R-rated
the
movie?
Suicide Squad.
Then the Suicide Squad, and now Peacemaker. So now we have this whole section of the DCU that's kind of like hardcore. And I think that's the direction because I mean the DCU is fucking silly as fuck. And can I just spoil
So
something?
so
So I need to spoil something very
okay.
small that happens in a later episode where John Cena talks about Batman.
Okay.
He has an argument with somebody about Batman about the whole reason that Peacemaker doesn't have a rogues gallery of villains coming at him all the time is because he put them all 6 feet under. And he's like, the reason Batman, doesn't kill, he puts the guy in jail, and then they come out and kill more people. And he's talking about the whole Batman no kill rule, and he's having this argument. And I'm thinking, what DCEU are you in? Because granted, the Ben Affleck Batman very well for most of his 20-year career as Batman, he might not have killed, but goddamn, he's out of his fucking mind. He's got like some serious brain fucking trauma in Batman versus Superman. It's very clear. Like he's not well, and especially if you watch the director's cut, it's like, and you see more Clark investigating him and like seeing that like this vigilante has lost his shit. Like he's literally causing the deaths of all these people. Like it's not a no. He's either directly killing them or indirectly killing them by branding them and then having them get fucking stabbed to death in prison and shit like this. Or the scene where
God damn.
he's going to rescue Clark's mother and he's just like eviscerating people. He's blowing everybody up. In this Batmobile scene in Batman vs Superman, he's just killing people indiscriminately all over the place. So I'm thinking like that's weird. How Peacemaker's like, do they not know that Batman lost his mind and
I guess you could justify it that like he's doing it on the down. Like people don't know that Batman is. He has a whole thing about he tells people he doesn't kill people, but then
oh
he's.
wow, that's silly. Come on now. Like
Oh
people
yeah,
don't
because the
know. People
DCEU.
all of the funerals as a result of Batman, and nobody knows. It's like the church is like, oh god, another Batman related death.
They just
That
call
whole
it. They
that whole
call it something else. They've got like a code name for the Batman deaths.
ever since the Metropolis was attacked by the Kryptonians, Bruce is just like unhinged.
Yeah, so I like. Do you think that now like the DCEU is gonna go kind of crazy? Like even the Aquaman stuff for Shazam too. Do you think they're gonna take them,
They
or do you
already
think
went.
they're gonna
They
keep
are,
them?
dude. The DCU already went the like they jumped the shark many times already. Uh, Look at Wonder Woman 2. Aquaman, which is a really good movie, is really just very very silly, but it's a visual. It's almost like a classic fucking
Well, I
like.
think it's trash to be brutally honest. But
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of people watch it and it's like this is just fake looking noise all everywhere, and I can't jive. I can't buy the realism of like this world. But this really requires a suspension of disbelief, like big time. It's very fantastical, very magical, and
do you think they're gonna make it like
I
hardcore?
I
The
like it though,
second one?
man. Some of those action scenes in Aquaman are pretty fucking tight. Like the land stuff. A lot of the land stuff is really good. It
Yeah,
has
the
to be.
thing where they destroy the whole Italian city there.
Oh yeah, that's like it's one of the best action sequences in any comic book movie. But I get how people don't uh, like it so much. Do you think it's gone like off the rails? It can
The
it doesn't matter now.
DCEU.
Like they kind of just throw anything at it and just say like
I
let's
think the DCU has been broken ever since like I guess the first Suicide Squad movie came out. It was like already they should have restarted it at that point.
yeah.
Like when Batman v Superman came out, it was already scuffed. They should have just started again. It was too late already. But I guess they were too invested. Um, I don't know. I almost feel as if um they should just stop trying to make everything be connected and be part of like a greater universe. Like let Marvel do that with the superhero stuff. They can do that. You
Oh,
just make smaller like just make your Batman movies with oh god damn what's he called?
do
Um
you know it's like impossible not to do the connected bigger
I
franchise thing?
guess I know.
Because
I
even
know.
but look at the Batman, completely separate, and they will not. I will really check out if they do this. If they do the Spider-Man No Way Home crossing of franchises things with, it's like it would be like Christian Bale's Nolan Batman showing up in a new movie.
But they're doing
It
that.
wouldn't
They're doing
fit.
that with Flash. They're putting
No,
Michael
no, no,
Keaton
no, no,
Batman
no,
in the
no, no. I'm
Flash.
not talking about Michael Keaton. I'm talking about bringing the more realistic or more serious, like grounded
Okay.
characters into the fantastical worlds.
No,
Like
no, no.
that would completely fucking throw me because you can do it with Spider-Man because every single version of Spider-Man is like out there and fantastical. Like, but with Batman, you can have the broader connected thing where he knows Superman and fucking Wonder Woman, and Batman can like has superpowers out for some reason, and he's completely durable and like no armor. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like it's very
But look what
unreal.
happened
It's
to
very
Arrow.
unrealistic.
Look what happened
But
to Arrow, like the Arrowverse show.
yeah, but hold on. Then you have Christopher Nolan's Batman, which is a reasonably realistic approach, more so than other versions like Keaton's Batman
Mm.
or Ben Affleck's.
Hmm.
And now you have the modern version of that of Nolan's. I'm not saying Matt Reeves and Nolan are the same, but Matt Reeves is taking a very grounded kind of like how do we approach a story where a real man is doing this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like and not have like mutants and monsters and stuff. Just have it be like people and fucked up villains and storylines about corrupt
Which is my
families or
favorite kind
whatever.
of Batman, to be honest.
It's a mystery. It's a detective story. It's
I
a
like that.
noir.
But see, look, this is I'm saying this is what they did to Arrow. Arrow season 1, 2, that was kind of what it was. It was like
Yeah,
it wasn't so much. It was really real life humans being vigilantes, fighting against like corrupt politicians, that kind of shit.
yeah,
With a couple flashbacks to like some sort of island where he pretended to be dead. And then all of a sudden, when you start introducing the very concept of the Flash and this this guy getting supercharged by like a generator that it's like, oh, here we go. And then all of a sudden the Arrowverse kind of crumbles in on itself and it becomes a fantastical, nonsensical, like if you appreciate the Arrowverse, and God knows I do for what it is, but like I appreciate the fact that I like the fun and the ridiculousness of it. It's not a show that you can sit down and like really appreciate for like how well thought out it is. It's entertainment, at face value. That's what it is. It's just entertainment, right?
and
And then the problem is with all that is as good as I find some of the seasons of Arrow became, as entertaining as some of the seasons of like Legends became, because it was just ridiculous. Arrow became worse and worse because there's no realistic way to ground the show to have the show make sense anymore. It's a guy that shoots arrows at this point. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Hawkeye did a better job at that, I guess. But yeah, it takes away from it so much that it doesn't make sense anymore. I don't know how they're gonna connect all of these DCEU shows. I feel like they should just release things like they did Joker. That's it. That
No,
because that's a very successful movie.
that's the thing about the Joker. Now it's like they immediately said, "Oh, it was cost so little, it made so much." Realistically, what do? You got to make a sequel, and they have ideas or whatever. I don't know what they're gonna do and if they're gonna do it. But I'm like, you know what? Leave it alone.
They shouldn't make a sequel.
That's a great one off.
They
Like
should
we
bring the director back and have him work on something else. Like, do you want to do a
yeah.
Scarecrow movie now?
No, I don't think they. I don't think that should be a trend. That like that Joker was a special kind of thing, and I thought they were gonna be like now, Lex Luthor, the realistic, traumatic story of Lex Luthor, and then it's like totally super grounded and stuff.
I don't.
I don't
think
ever
you
want them to
can-
do that shit.
I don't think. Well, Joker's a very special case because the way Joker treated the character is they dived into um mental health issues
Yeah,
and the way society as a whole addresses and handles mental health issues. So I think they had like kind of like an angle that was interesting to address. I don't think Lex Luthor like you rich businessman is mean. Oh no, I don't really think you can.
Daddy didn't hug me.
Yeah, right. I don't think you can really find an angle on that. There's a lot of people that had shitty childhoods that still turned out good. You don't have to be
Yeah.
like the most horrible prick. I guess that would they cast Jeff Bezos as Lex Luthor if they did that?
Oh God.
They just do a documentary on him.
Oh God.
Yeah, no, I don't. I do think there are some characters that because I like the way that Gotham handled Scarecrow. Like I like that. Where it's like Scarecrow is the kid of Scarecrow, you know what I mean?
I was wondering. I'm gonna make a banner for it
Oof.
because I know you recently saw Eternals.
Oh.
Now, what did you think of that little gem?
Oh God. I think the only film that I like less than Eternals, or that I think is not is less good, I think is like Thor: The Dark World. And then somewhere above Eternals or around the same spectrum is like Black Widow and Captain Marvel. Like it's all trash. Eternals, the biggest problem with it is that it felt so uninspired and so bland. Like nothing.
You
Thor: The
said
Dark World is at least visually creative. Captain Marvel at least has a way of like it tries to connect and it has a lot of fun with like current like existing MCU things. Black Widow is at least a send off for Black Widow, and it introduces our new Black Widow. This movie, like the big, huge sci-fi concepts, or the I guess the big Marvel concepts that it's introducing, like the galactic concepts that it's introducing, they're pretty cool, but visually the monsters feel like they could have been just jacked from any film. All of their powers with the golden rings and shit feel like they would like it's almost like you put into an AI random generator for like what would magical powers look like, and then that's what came out. Um, they have these actors, big name actors, that you wonder why the fuck they cast them. It's like, why would you cast these people to do nothing? You could have cast anyone to play their roles. Like they didn't bring their own special something to the role. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, I mean,
Paul Rudd is so specifically Ant-Man. Like, and I'm not saying that only Paul Rudd can be Ant-Man. I'm not saying only Chris Evans can be Steve Rogers Captain America, but they bring a certain something from their own personality to that role. Whereas, and I'm really not blaming the actors here. It's just like the way they wrote the characters in Eternals. None of them could bring anything to the role because they were just all bland pieces of wood.
you said I think you said online or on Twitter that Eternals is to the films as Inhumans was to TV, and it's a very apt comparison because that's exactly
That's my
my
best
thoughts.
review.
Because I was like, this is if they tried to make Inhumans as a movie. I know that they're not connected, but it just felt like the same thing.
They're so closely connected, though. It's like taking very talented actors, and I'm talking about both films here, like Eternals and films. Inhumans was a miniseries, but same thing. Everything I want to say connects to them both because, like, taking very talented actors and having them do nothing, give them no good lines, having a group of superpowered individuals live near or on Earth, like on the dark side of the moon, or on Earth, but undercover for generations, for years, not ever helping, just pretending to not be around. It makes like Earth so much more important than it should be. It's like the costumes feel more like sad cosplays than actual costumes. The powers that they have are just uninspired. The storytelling is poor at best.
Yeah, it's
Oh my god,
misfire. It has good
really,
intentions, but I think
I
it's a
really
misfire.
would have, I really would have, I would have introduced the Eternals in the next Avengers film. I would have done an Avengers movie where the Avengers, or like these new Avengers, realize that there's a huge ass galactic being inside the core of the planet, and they have to get rid of it. And then on the same side, you have like on the same film, you have like this group, these powered individuals called the Eternals that are defending the galactic beast. And so the Avengers fight the Eternals in the film, and then halfway through, a la original Avengers, they come to realize that they're actually on the same side, because if the Eternals do actually help the being, it'll destroy all humanity, and they don't want that. So that's when the Eternals become Avengers allies, and then they all get together and have an actual fight against the giant ass being. That's how I would have done it.
Have you seen Spider-Man: No Way Home?
I haven't seen that one yet. You just want to
Okay.
skip over Eternals?
No, I mean you said it. You said it. Like
No,
it is bland. It's not. It's not inspired.
it's yeah.
I tried to watch it and I was like, again, you know what I mean? For a second time, I'm like, ah,
No, it brings
yeah.
nothing to the table, and it's very long. It's also too long for what it is.
And the whole, yeah, it's like
It's too
it
long.
and it sets up like these grand like universal rules for the Marvel universe, and it's like, oh, creation and like, oh my god, it gets really beyond like it gets
It
really
can
out,
it can
it gets very out there. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're not watching Superman and Lois, are you? Hello? Oh, you cut out. Damn it. We lost Sean. Toddy, come back. All right. Well, we talked about Book of Boba Fett, Peacemaker. Uh, some things coming out in February. New season of South Park. New season of Raised by Wolves. The second half of season 4 of Discovery. And a new show, which is a recreation of uh, The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but it's like serious. It's like a serious drama. And then The Walking Dead is coming back. And jumping ahead to March, we have Picard, season 2, new season of The Orville, and a new season of Atlanta. That's at least what I'm looking forward to. We lost Sean, so I'm going to end it right there. And thank you for listening. And then until next time, stay frosty, folks.